Welcome to Recovering Hope. As the name suggests, we're here to offer you hope in these unparalleled and often troubling times. Recovering Hope started out as a ministry for those suffering from drug addiction and their families. With the onslaught of the Wuhan flu, the subsequent illnesses, exaggerated fears, and death, we are bringing information to potentially prevent and treat this invisible enemy of mankind. In all cases, whether it's regarding drug addiction or the Wuhan flu, do not change any protocols without checking with your doctor. Hope you enjoy the program. And good evening. Welcome to Recovering Hope. My name is Marcley, and it's a pleasure to be here with you this evening. Tonight we're going to be joined with a couple of people, one via the telephone and one with me right now, Mr. Toby. Evening, Tom.
Hey, how are you this evening?
I'm doing okay, man. I appreciate your time. I really do. I know you're a busy man, and at the last minute things got changed around a little bit, but this is live radio and those things happen. So we were going to have Mr. Jonathan Uzcategui. Yeah, it's a tough one to pronounce. But that's all part of the easy to remember when you see those signs, right? We were going to have him in the second half, and he called in and said, can we do the first part of the program? So we obliged, and Tom did also. But we're here, like the promo said, folks, they have the little intro, to try to alleviate some of the concerns, the fears, the apprehension, the misinformation, all about this unfortunate and all too common Wuhan flu. There are a lot of preventative measures and remedies, actually, if you were to get sick. And I don't like beating the dead dog kind of thing, but I think it's worth repeating the need to, if you have symptoms of COVID, please get them looked into as soon as possible, particularly if you are in any kind of a high-risk group, such as myself. Early treatment is critical, and there are remedies, and good preventative measures are also very important, and in most cases very simple and inexpensive to do. So that's basically our goal. We're not telling anybody what to do, whether to take a shot, don't take a shot, listen to me. Do your homework, get your facts, and that's what we have been doing. So I've got a number of things that we'll be speaking with both of these gentlemen this evening about. A couple of things that I just wanted to start off with. We are trying to get you vaccinated. This is a vaccinating program, I hope, and one that will do you some good. There's great information updated, and again, folks, I get information all the time. Tom was just saying the same thing. A good place for updated information is the COVID-19 criticalcare.com. COVID-19 criticalcare.com. They have a lot of information on things like ivermectin, on prevention, the various protocols that get tweaked from time to time, whether it's a protocol for treatment or a protocol for prevention, maybe a little bit of both. I said last week that I would try to find some local places for the Regeneron, the monoclonal antibody treatment providers. There are, it looks like, 5 of them here locally. Novant Health, Brunswick Medical Center, New Hanover Regional Medical Center, Cape Fear Clinic, Intracoastal Internal Medicine, and the Infusion Center, Wilmington Health. And there's a place on Facebook that you can look up. Yeah, I did write it down. Drive IV. If you just type in the search engine in Facebook, Drive IV, and there are lots of testimonies there and things like that. And TK, I'm getting a little feedback in my headphones. I don't know if that's in my head or what. I don't know. Anyway. So those are some places, and again, folks, you don't have to necessarily write all this down. If I could be of any help, if you have questions, concerns, the best thing to do would be to email me at recoveringhope.org. That's our website. We also run a recovery home for men, and that's how this program started a little over a year ago. That's recoveringhope.org. And I'm just going to go through a few topics here, and then we'll get Jonathan Uzcategui on the phone and speak with him and get his positions on some of this. There's, you may have heard the news, there's the governor of California is trying to create a vax mandate for schools for children. I mean, what are they, 6 when they start school?
Yeah, I think 5 or 6 when they start kindergarten. Some schools now, they're actually doing preschool.
Yeah. And what is the recovery rate for that age group from that to like 18 is 99.99%, something like that?
Yeah, that I know of. There has not been a single death of anyone under 18 in New Hanover County at all. Mm-hmm. Not that I have heard reported anywhere.
Yeah, well, that's a good thing. Southwest Airlines employees put on leave without pay. I heard this on Chris Plant today. That guy is an incredible host. I don't know if you ever listened to him. It's on another station, but I do change the dial sometimes. But he put it like this. Southwest Airlines employees put on leave without pay. Yeah, that's like you're fired for now. I mean, what does that mean? If you don't take this experimental vaccine, you're fired? I was speaking with David Perry, I think it was, today. He was actually on the station. He called in the Joe Show this morning, and he was saying, like for instance, with the meetings, right, with the mask mandate for the meetings, instead of it being all or none, maybe you could have a separate area. And David said, I mean, he took the shot. He's not saying that he's against it, but there's certain liberties here that we'll get into a little bit later that are being just trampled over. So, to have these employees, you take the shot or you get fired there, regardless of how many years they've been there, we're talking about, people's lives, their incomes, their futures.
Yeah, and this is something that's really close to my heart because, I just don't think people should be put in that position. When GE here in Wilmington has just recently come out and told all their employees, get the shot by X date or, you're terminated.
Really?
I spoke with a gentleman Saturday at the COVID car show out in Wrightsboro.
Oh, yeah. Thanks for posting those pictures, man.
Yeah, no problem. No problem. It was a lot of fun. And especially, I want to say thanks to Benny Bass for inviting me to come out and bring my old hot rod out there. But I spoke with a gentleman out there. He's been there 28 years.
Wow.
And if he doesn't do this, he gets fired, loses all of his pension, all of his benefits, everything, 28 years.
Not even an option for an early retirement or something?
No, just all or nothing.
And when is this date?
I don't remember the date. I want to say he told me it was November 8th, but don't hold me to that because,
we'll find out, yeah.
Fortunately, I've been able to speak to a lot of people here lately, and all the dates and times are kind of running together. But
yeah, I know how it goes.
This is right here in Wilmington, another company that is trying to force people to do this on an experimental,
biological agent.
Yeah, it's not even a vaccine by the definition of the vaccine.
No, it's not.
Well, they changed the
definition of vaccine
to meet what this stuff is rather than what an actual vaccine is. So
just a couple of quick points before we get Jonathan on the line. On the way to work this morning, I don't know, 8:30, I left my house. My daughter's neighbor, my neighbor's daughter, I'm sorry, riding her bike to school with a mask on. Out down the street, fresh air, not in a crowded community. I could see maybe when she got on school grounds, she would feel better. Maybe they have to once they get on school grounds. But this poor girl, I mean, her parents are probably scared to death. And again, that's why we're here, folks, trying to shed some light on this, that there's definitely hope. There are preventative measures that you can take, and remedies if you were to get sick, other than going to the hospital and put on an intubator. I already read the Regeneron location. So again, folks, if you have questions or concerns, you can reach me after the show at 910-231-6020, 231-6020, text or call, Be glad to help, hear your concerns, hear your complaints. We want to share with you what needs to be shared with our local audience. And TK, if you can try Jonathan now, I'd appreciate that. And Jonathan Uzcategui is going to be on the line with us. And Jonathan, among other things, is a local business owner and running for city council. Did I get that right, Jonathan?
Yes, you did.
Well, thank you, man, and thank you for taking some time in your busy schedule.
Thank you so much for the opportunity.
Yeah. Well, I heard you probably about a year ago. I think you were doing an interview with Joe Catanacci, and just some of the things that you guys were saying, the things that you were doing. I think this was long before you decided to run for city council. I was like, man, I actually put it in my notes, like every Friday. Okay, we got to go to Churrasco. Got to go there. And sadly, I just never made it. But give us a little background on yourself there, Jonathan, if you would, please.
Sure. My name is Jonathan Uzcategui. I am an American citizen by choice, Venezuelan by birth. I came here a little over 20 years ago. Mm-hmm. I'm originally from Caracas, Venezuela. Mm-hmm. And, the reason I came here, as you know, my country got destroyed by a horrible idea, socialists, communists. And, I came to this country, and this country has been nothing but blessed to me and my family. Mm-hmm. And now I am, I'm a small business owner, 3 business, successful business in town. Mm-hmm. And I decide, in February to run for Wilmington City Council to hopefully get back to the communities that given me so much. So that's one of the reasons, or many reasons, that I decided to run for office. Uh-huh. And here I am,
Yeah. Well, I
do a little bit of change in our city.
Right. I've heard you speak in a couple of different venues, and I like the things that you have to say. And it's I have to disagree with part of it, though, because I've heard you say a few times that you're not a politician. Well, I happened to look up the meaning of politician, a person who is professionally involved in politics, especially as a holder or a candidate for an elected office. So like it or not, pal, I think that's the direction you're going here. But
well, how about this? Let me rephrase that. I'm not trying to become a career politician.
Okay, there you go. There you go. And by the way,
that's just,
I think that, Tom Toby, he's sitting here with me, so, feel free to bring him into the conversation.
Hey there, Jonathan.
Yeah.
Seems like it was about a year ago that you and I were sitting at this very same table doing another interview.
Oh, yes, we did. Exactly.
Yeah, that's right. Tom was telling me that, and that was trying to reopen the county back then.
Right. You remember that, Jonathan?
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah, Tom Toby is a good friend of mine. I think he's a good patriot like myself, and I'm very, glad to call him a friend. He's been a very strong supporter of me, and I hope it to be the same for him. We've been friends for quite a while now, and I look up to him too. He's a very strong patriot, and I'm excited that he's now running for county commission.
Yes.
Thank you, Jonathan.
Yeah, that is excellent news. And one thing that I wonder when I see all these election signs up. Nobody puts their party affiliation on the signs. Is that not permitted, or is that just a strategy?
Well, I think it's not permitted. This election is supposed to be bipartisan. When there's no in the ticket, you're not going to be able to see if they're Republicans and Democrats. But let's just cut the nonsense. It is more political than anything.
Right.
This is the Democrats against Republicans. I don't know why we keep BSing ourselves. It's just the Democrats against Republicans. Just, I guess it's just a protocol to really disguise intentions, I guess.
Yeah, I think so. And I think it would be better to, put a D, an R, or an I on their signs.
Exactly.
Just people can do their own homework and things, but it's almost like saying, the house is for sale, but you don't put the price on it. Like, come on, get the information out there.
I think, exactly. It's kind of like a disease, misinformation to the voters. But they make the voters not really to know who they're voting for.
Right.
But I'm making it very clear that people know in this election, I am a Republican. I'm running on a Republican ticket. And, I just feel that, I want to be straightforward with the constituents.
Right.
I am running a Republican ticket. I'm a conservative, and, I stand for the conservatism.
Now, being from Venezuela, and you've seen that country, I suppose, in the good days and in the bad days. What parallels are you seeing here, Jonathan, other than the very obvious, and maybe it's not so obvious to some people?
Well, the thing is that, like you see the Democrats right now, they're pushing a lot of socialism, right?
Right.
And honestly, I believe a lot of these people don't know. They never seen this before. And everything in socialist sounds really good on paper when you talk about it. I mean, it sounds really good.
Mm-hmm.
We're trying to help everybody.
Mm-hmm.
We want everybody to be equally taken care. I mean, who's not going to want to go for that, right? For something that it sounds really good. But in reality, this idea has been already put in place in over 100 different countries. Right. And every single time it's been put in place, it destroyed that nation. Mm-hmm. Like I did it to my native country, And I think the reason, one of the many reasons I'm running, because I want to bring that awareness to our communities to please understand this is not the way to go. Right. We need to go for equal opportunities, not equal outcome. We are not all equal. Yes, we can help each other here and, try to lift each other up, but it's not going to be the government implementing how we do this, because it's always in an authoritarian, government. We need to stay away from that. Otherwise, this country will turn into a Venezuela 2.0. And that's one of the reasons, many, many reasons, that I'm running, to make sure that I bring awareness to our communities to understand what they're trying to push is not good. And we stay away from that.
And it seems like it's an extreme example of that with how the government, I'll just say, is handling this pandemic. Tom and I were talking off air before, might have been some on air, I don't know. It's one thing to put these options out there, but to force people, I don't know if you heard Tom saying that it looks like GE are telling their people sometime in November, we think, to take the shot or leave their job. Benefits, everything. Goodbye. Gone.
Well, I honestly think that this pandemic is, to me, it looks like a way to test exactly how they're going to be the authorities in this nation. Look at what you're saying. It should be a choice between you and your doctor. Right. Where you're saying, I'm going to take the vaccine. Hey, I'm a pro-vaccine person. Mm-hmm. But to me, I need time. I need data. I want to see the results. Yes. I want to see more people, what the data say after 5, 10 years, whatever it takes.
Right.
When I feel comfortable, I want to take the vaccine. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Now when they're telling me that there's something, an experimental drug, you need to put it in your body and, it might do well, it might not do well. Good luck.
Right. And you can't sue the vaccine companies if somebody gets sick or dies. They're protected. What does that tell you? I have something here that I saw this morning. It is as of 2 days ago, 40% of COVID deaths in Maryland were people who were vaccinated. Speaking during an interview with Fox News Monday afternoon, former Center for Disease Control and Prevention Director Robert Redfield said that more than 40% of people who have recently died from Wuhan coronavirus in Maryland were fully vaccinated. Another short paragraph. A lot of times people may feel it's a rare event that fully vaccinated people die. I happen to be the senior advisor to Governor Hogan in the state of Maryland. In the last 6 to 8 weeks, more than 40% of people who died in Maryland were fully vaccinated, Redfield said, responding to the death of former Secretary of State Colin Powell. And our condolences to the Powell family, of course. But 40% of the deaths are people who are vaccinated. Now, I will say that I did not fact-check this, but I'm quoting the former Center for Disease Control and Prevention Director, Robert Redfield.
So, but also on top of what you're saying, if you look at it, how the government is being misleading us with the information. Right. Where social media is trying to, anytime you post a comment or a question something, it's like this fascism. Or you don't agree with us, we're going to shut you down. Right. That even make more red flags for persons like myself to say, okay, what these people are trying to hide? Mm-hmm. If it was so good, can we not be more transparency what we're doing here? Yes. But you don't get that. You don't get that from the federal government. You don't get that from the state government. Mm-hmm. You don't get that from the media. It's all this, disguising the information, hiding something. It's a lot of red flags. People like myself, once again, I'm a pro vaccine.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to be a skeptical. I don't know about this. I'm going to wait a little longer before, What happened to that old frames the liberals used to have? My body, my choice.
Right.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That disappeared just like that.
Yeah. No, that's an interesting position, Jonathan. It really is. And, there are just so many other parts of this, and I may have told you when I saw you at your restaurant last week that, part of my passion here is to let people know about the prevention and the treatment that we're not hearing. I was going to go, I also run a recovery house for men, and I'm in that business. And that's what this show started out to be over a year ago. It was all about drug prevention and that kind of thing. And I've interviewed a lot of people from all over the country, and a lot of them were gathering at Washington, D.C., I think it was, last month. No, in August. Where are we? October? Yeah. Okay, so back in the end of August, I was going to go. As the date was approaching, COVID was picking up some speed. My wife said, Mark, that might not be a good idea. To be in a crowd, and I said, well, let's look into it. Did my homework. My doctor prescribed me a small dose of ivermectin for prevention. He said, if you're going to go, then take 6 of these the day before and 6 of these the day after, and that would pretty much do it. That's what got me really digging and looking. Unfortunately, I canceled my reservations and I did not go. I really wanted to go because of all the people that were going to be there. But that's what got me, doing my own homework and looking at this thing. And okay, what are the best preventative measures? You've probably, I don't know if you've heard from people like Dr. Simone Gold, the frontline doctors, Dr. Peter McCullough, Dr. Zelenko. There are so many that have, to the best of my knowledge, have nothing to gain. I'm here, Jonathan, and Tom may know this too. I'm not selling anything. I'm just trying to give information to give people hope, and I have no personal agenda.
You got to understand. Look, if you're depressed, you're more likely to get sick. Your immune system drops substantially when you're depressed. Mm-hmm. So the more depressed you are, you're more likely to get sick.
Right.
So I don't see nobody, no media, no government encouraging people to go and exercise more, to take vitamins, we never, it's like science is completely MIA.
Yeah.
Disappear.
Yeah.
It's like, what's going on? Science is never settled. Everybody knows that science is never settled. It can be something today, but tomorrow it can change, Yeah. So I don't see nobody talking about really, alternatives. Well, exercise more, stay outside, make sure you drink, a lot of liquid, live a healthy life. Nope. Everybody's like, stay home, quarantine. I never heard that.
Yeah.
To my knowledge, quarantine was supposed to be applied to the sick, not to healthy individuals.
Right.
So that's something that it got me on top of everything else, questioning even more everything. No, you're a healthy person, quarantine. Another thing that it got me also thinking about it. Let's get the vaccine to the people that are not vaccinated to protect the ones who already got the vaccine. That doesn't make any sense.
No,
it's like with critical thinking, it's no longer around.
Right.
If the vaccine works so well and you have it, what the heck did I need to get it? That doesn't make any sense.
Yeah. No, I know.
So you remember it. And Tom and I, we used to talk about this back then. Remember, it started with 2 weeks to flatten the curve.
That's right.
And everybody used to give us, oh, you're a conspiracy theorist, you're crazy. And we used to tell them, there's 2 weeks to flatten the curve, the mask mandate, it's going to turn into a vaccine mandate. And now look what's happened. Where are we now a year and a half later?
Yeah, it's coming up on 2 years.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Right? I mean, wasn't
it? Believe me.
It was before the election.
Stop.
Yeah, it started before the election.
Yeah.
I don't think this is going to stop until we, as the people, take back our rights. I believe, I respect everybody. Whatever you're doing up there, that it work for you, that make you feel safe, please do it.
Right.
But I don't think they should be forced into an individual. That you have to do what I'm doing so I can feel safe about myself. I think that's wrong.
Well, very good.
That's something this country wasn't built into that. We have rights in this country, and with these mask mandates and the vaccine, we're little by little losing our rights.
Yeah, absolutely.
And it's scary.
And like you said, I think this is sort of a test run also to see, okay, if we can control the masses with this, right? And the masking, especially the masking of the children. As an adult, I walk into a store, almost every place says put a mask on. In most cases, I walk in, I don't have a mask on, but I might have one in my pocket. So if they insist, okay, I'm not going to cause trouble. But I also have some prevention measures of my own. I keep a nose spray in my truck that's oregano oil base, and when you put that in your nostrils, it protects you to a degree. And I do take a lot of supplements.
Yeah, but look what you just said. Look what you just said, right? Let's have some common sense here.
Right.
You're telling me you're putting a mask in your packet where you're putting your hands, you're touching everything. So all the things that you're touching all over the store, whatever you are,
right.
It's like a cocktail of virus and all kinds of stuff. That now you're putting in your face. You don't touch your face the way you're touching your face these days.
That's right.
I believe that we are going to see later on some new virus appear because all the bacteria, not its own virus, bacteria. And I noticed that a lot of people have a lot of, rashes on their faces, on their lips, and, it started to build some kind of like bacteria around their nose and all this stuff. It's because all this masks, people don't change the mask. I see people with the mask in their packet.
Yeah.
They put it in,
right.
in their face. They put it right back in their packet. So we actually not teaching some really good genes.
That's right. Good point.
It's like,
it's
dirt. It's like, I look at it like a lot of people, believe it or not, it sounds like they're putting, to me, it looked like they're putting their underwear in the face.
Yeah. Some people have referred to it as a face diaper. Yeah.
For what I heard, the majority of the masks that I see up there is to stop bacteria. After an hour or two, if they get where they're contaminated, they have to be disposed. A lot of people that I see, they have those masks. They're so dirty, so they wear it because they don't want to get into a confrontation.
Right.
They wear it so they can go into the store. They wear it just to nobody, bother them. And some people wear them because they think they're safe.
Yeah.
I see people driving by themselves in their vehicle with their mask on. And like I say, I respect that. I'm totally about give people that choice.
That's
if they want to wear their mask, they have my bless.
Well,
they have my support.
I don't know if you heard me in the beginning of the show, Jonathan. This morning on my way to work, my neighbor's daughter is riding her bike to school. She might be, 8, 9, 10 years old, something like that. And she's got a mask on, riding through my neighborhood. Not on school property where a bunch of kids are around. This poor girl, and, she's probably so scared. Her parents are perhaps fanning those flames of fear instead of wisdom.
Or the school is.
Yeah, well, the school definitely is. Yeah. So,
well, I look at that like this. This is my theory on that. Okay, and once again, this is going to sound when Tom and I started talking like this, people used to call us conspiracy theory, but here we are. Now we prove them wrong. I honestly think what you see right now is to create a new society of people that they're not going to question when government telling them what to do. This young generation, they're growing, putting the mask on without questioning.
Right.
Think about what's going to happen when they become adults. They tell them to do something, and they're not going to question anything. They're just going to do what they say.
Exactly.
And that's it.
Yeah.
So what kind of generation we're going to have, living in this country 20, 10 years from now? A society that is going to be completely obeying whatever the government say.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter if it's a good or bad thing.
Not if we have our say in it. Go ahead, Tom.
Yeah, I was just going to say, along with what Jonathan's saying, is it's indoctrination into compliance.
Yep.
Complete compliance. Don't question anything.
Submission.
Submission. It absolutely amazes me right now that nobody is questioning any of this.
Yeah.
They're just blindly going along.
Well, there's three of us. Three of
right?
us in this conversation certainly are.
Yeah, it's like, ask the questions.
Yes.
What are you scared of? Ask the questions. And it's like, Jonathan said, people they're scared anymore of confrontation, and it's like, but, ask the questions. You can't just continue to go blindly along with this.
And then something else that's important, Jonathan, and I think you feel the same way. There's enough social divide in our world. There was before COVID, and unfortunately, the political situations. I'm not placing any blame anywhere, but there's just so much division. Have you got in part of your plan or your platform to bring people together? Any theories on that other than just telling the truth?
Well, I hopefully, I'm able to, help a lot of communities in town. I see a lot of division, for example. Something that I notice that I hear over and over and over, that we are a racist nation, a racist city.
Yeah.
I mean, come on. I'm an immigrant that came from a third world country, very successful business owner, live in a very nice home, drive very nice vehicle, know so many people in this town. What else is we have to do to prove that this is the most diverse in general and inclusive country in the world?
Yeah, good point.
People need to understand. You see so many immigrants that risk their life to come here.
Right.
Do you think immigrants will risk everything to come to a racist, divided, horrible country?
Good point.
No, they're not.
Yeah.
These people come because they know that this country, it is the land of the opportunity, the most diversity, the most general. But politicians, I believe this is a horrible politicians take advantage of Marxist ideologies. Identity politics was invented by Marxist ideologies. Political correctness, identity politics, it was created with one intention, to divide people.
Yeah.
Because politicians understand that divided, they're going to be able to conquer. United, we stand together. So we can accomplish so many things. So one of the things that I hope that I'm able to bring into our city is to let people know that this is not a racist city. And I know there are going to be some people that are far beyond indoctrinated on these Marxist ideologies, that we are a racist nation and all kinds of names they call the United States.
Right.
But I have the receipts. I came from a country that got destroyed by the same ideologies that I see here.
Well,
I got the receipts when I tell you, when I came here with nothing, it made so good something for myself and my family. What else did I need to show people? And I honestly believe that I'm going to be able to change some hearts and minds.
Yeah, well,
but I know there's going to be people fighting me like hell because I'm going to expose their scam. That's what they're running here. And a scam to keep populations under control. How do they do that? By keep them, by pandering to these communities. They're going to be able to, stay in power by just keep pandering, keep pushing, that Kool-Aid. This is a racist nation. Look at how much. Look, my election. I get elected because I will be elected. You better believe it.
I like that.
It's going to show. I'm going to be the first Venezuelan American elected official in the state of North Carolina.
Wow.
In a southern state of the United States. Would that not tell you something huge?
Right.
That, wow.
Well,
we are so racist.
You have a very unique perspective and platform, Jonathan. And how do people learn more about your campaign, what you're doing, and how can they help?
Well, they can go to Uzcategui for citycouncil.com. Look me up. Make sure that you get involved. Get to know a little bit about myself, from me. Right now, their opposition, the Democrats, are running in a smear campaign against my character, and, just is this nonsense. I've been living in this town for 20 years. Nobody ever say nothing bad. I teach martial arts for 15 years. Kids, women, anybody. Nobody. Anybody in this town, they know me very well, know the type of individual that I am.
Yeah.
And, the opposition is running in a smear campaign against me. They hacked one of my business websites and put a virus. These people are talking about my business because, they just don't have nothing good to say. So this is how bad politicians are. Look, I'm not going to say bad. I know a lot of things about everybody, but I would not spend a time or place to talk bad about nobody. I learned this.
Yeah, good. So you're on your way.
Time.
I'm sorry to cut you off there, Jonathan. I got to move on, but you're on your way to UNCW now? Is this a public forum that you're going to?
Yes. Yes, I'm going to be talking to some kids in the UNCW. I'm trying to build up the UNCW Republican club here.
Good.
So we have a very strong conservative voice in our university.
Excellent. Jonathan, thank you so much for what you're doing, man. I look forward to staying in touch with you. Sure.
And then hopefully we can talk again next time. Okay?
Absolutely. You got it, man.
Thank you, my brother.
Thanks, Jonathan.
God bless you.
You take care.
Take care,
Jonathan.
Bye-bye.
Okay, bye-bye.
And we're going to take a short break here, folks, and then we'll learn a little more about Tom and some updates and see if I can get halfway through my notes. We'll be right back. Don't go away. New South Business Brokers. Pete DeVita is the owner and founder of New South Business Brokers. I've known Pete for many years, and I've always admired his business skills. His most recent endeavor is business brokerage. He has the expertise and experience to guide you through this challenging process, whether you're looking to buy or sell a business entity. His website, newsouthbusinessbrokers.com, is clean, informative, and to the point, with a lot of helpful information as well as current businesses for sale. Here's a small sampling of what New South Business Brokers can do for you. Working closely as an experienced team, New South Business Brokers applies their collective expertise on behalf of the business owners to strategically plan, effectively market, and efficiently execute the successful sale of their company. So, if you're in the market to buy or sell a business, this is a great time to call or email Pete DeVita, 910-262-2113 or pete@newsouthbusinessbrokers.com. Besides my involvement in Prodigal Recovery, I'm also in the construction business. I say that to say this. When we have tropical storms or hurricanes, the real hard, difficult, expensive, and dangerous work is usually the result of trees falling on homes or other personal property. Hurricane season is not the only time to get prepared for this. As a matter of fact, it's before and after hurricane season that you need to get prepared. My son Chris started his tree business called Climb Pro Expert Tree Care after Hurricane Florence. Chris has all the equipment and manpower to take on even the most challenging jobs. With over 20 years of combined experience, Climb Pro LLC can safely remove any unwanted hazardous trees from your property. They also offer tree pruning, elevation, deadwood removal, and other expert tree care services. Don't wait until you have a tree emergency. Visit climbpro.com, that's climb with a K. Check them out on Facebook or call Chris Marcley at 910-540-5249. Mention this ad for a 10% discount. If you would like to learn more about Prodigal Recovery or Recovering Hope, or maybe you would like to be a guest on the program, whatever it is, you can also check out a podcast from previous episodes by going to prodigalrecovery.org or give us a call, 910-338-3795. And welcome back to Recovering Hope. My name is Mark Marcley, and we just got off the phone with Jonathan Uzcategui, and I know he gave you his website. Go to jonathanuzcategui.com. I'm not going to try to spell that for you, but his signs are all around town, and you know it's almost part of his strategy to say, "Oh yeah, Jonathan, yeah, that guy, I can't say his last name, but look, I think he's got, like I said on the air there, where he came from." And his past and what he's seen happen in this country. Folks, we need a wake-up call. And I don't live in the city, but I truly believe that this is the guy that can do it. I really do. So I never thought I would be behind a microphone talking with any candidates at all, but it just so happens that both Jonathan and Tom here are candidates, and Tom's running for county commissioner. And the topic that interests me the most is the position on COVID. But Tom, give us a little background, maybe other than COVID, what got you to run for county commissioner, and just a little bit about yourself.
Well, don't feel bad. I never envisioned ever being a candidate. You never envisioned talking to candidates. I actually never envisioned being a candidate. kind of a little bit of background. I've lived in New Hanover County almost my entire life. I tease people and I tell them, I said, I'm from Monkey Junction, and I've been there since almost the day after the monkeys moved out. So I'm local. I went to school here from elementary school all the way through high school. I'm a graduate of Hoggard High School. I'm a graduate of Cape Fear Community College. Been here literally almost my entire life. I spent 26 years as a firefighter and 23 years as an EMT here, serving in the New Hanover County, the city of Wilmington, and the town of Wrightsville Beach. And
well, I appreciate that service.
Oh, no problem. Thank you. It was a whole lot of fun.
I'm sure.
But
sometimes.
Some days were a little rougher than others, but for the most part, being a firefighter is the best job in the world, and we have a level of fire protection here in New Hanover County in the city of Wilmington that is almost unmatched in other places in the country.
I didn't know that.
Yes,
nice.
we have very, very dedicated professional folks here, and when you see them, you should say thanks and shake their hand. Yeah,
good point.
But in growing up here and in living here and seeing how things have gone, and especially over the last couple of years, I finally just got to the point I could not stand to see what was going on anymore. I think the tipping point for me was the 21% tax increase we just got hit with that this county doesn't need. We're flush with cash. This county is flush with cash. All you've got to do is look at everybody moving here from other places and the tax-based revenue that we have here. We didn't need a 21% tax increase. We sold a hospital for $2 billion.
Yeah.
And I'm still trying to wrap my head around the sale of the hospital and make sure I have my ducks in a row before I speak too much publicly on that sale. But the businessman in me, and I've been very fortunate, I started a small business while I was still a firefighter. That business grew exponentially. I've been very, very blessed. And the businessman in me goes, okay, we have all this money from selling this hospital. Why is that money not being put somewhere to earn the county interest and make it to where we don't have to have another 21% tax increase? You know, I look at what was reported in the Star News about where they earmarked this money to go, and some of it doesn't make a whole lot of sense. But, you know, that's a whole other discussion.
Yeah.
But that's kind of what pushed me over the edge. I started I was one of the founding members of the Reopen NC New Hanover organization. It's actually been about a little over a year ago, I was in this very same room with Joe talking about the Reopen movement. And that's kind of where I started getting more, I hate to use the term political because like Jonathan, you know, I don't really consider myself a politician. I'm just a working class guy that is trying to run for office.
A concerned citizen.
I'm a concerned conservative citizen. And I want to put some voice of the working class people back on this board. You know, when I'm out talking to people all the time, they're asking me, what do I do for a living? What do I do for a living? I drive a truck. You know, it's that simple. I drive a truck. But I drive a truck all over Wilmington. And I have the opportunity to talk to people from every nationality, every race, every section of this town. I'm in every community in Wilmington. And I get to hear these people and what they're dealing with and how all this has affected them. And that is kind of what pushed me to jump in this race. You know, we were talking a little off air, you know, my prayer used to be, you know, Lord, if you want me to do this, then, you know, make it obvious, you know, because I'm pretty reluctant. I initially did not want to do this. It's been a 9-month process for me to jump in.
Wow.
And then the prayer kind of turned to, okay, Lord, I'm thinking about doing this. If you don't want me to do this,
you don't want me to.
If you don't want me to do this, you need to make that, you know, pretty obvious at this point now too. And it finally came to a head. And I said, okay, I think I'm going to do this. And I talked with my wife about it. And, you know, because that's the first person you need to talk to.
That's right.
When you're going to jump into something like this. And my wife has always been incredibly supportive of my wild ideas in 21 years. So she was on board. So we made the announcement a little over a month ago that I was going to run. And that's how we ended up here.
Yeah, good. And I would imagine all this COVID nonsense has just made you even more involved, and you see the stuff that's going on. And I look at a lot of your Facebook posts, and I like the facts. Well, I shouldn't say I like them. Well, no, I do, because you put out some statistics that I've been trying to uncover, and I trust that they're reasonably accurate about the lack of COVID cases in our hospital, which, as you point out, is a 5-county. That's why it's called New Hanover County Regional Medical Center. Or it used to be called that.
Yeah, it'll never be New Hanover Regional to me again. It's Novant Health now. It's been sold to a corporation. It is no longer our community hospital.
Right. And they've made that pretty clear in some ways.
Yeah, and it's pretty sad. You know, I've found out that there's some services. I have a friend of mine that is going to Chapel Hill next week because services that used to be available here, Novant is no longer doing here.
Oh, wow.
But, the COVID stuff, you know, you talked a little bit about it with Jonathan. Mm-hmm. From the very beginning, there's something out there. Something has been out there.
Yeah.
It affects people differently.
Right.
Where I've had the major point of contention with me is the forcing of people to comply with different things. There's absolutely no talk right now about natural immunity. People that have had it, that don't, they're immune to it now.
Yes.
And one of the big facets of the society, I guess, for lack of a better term, that are getting the sickest is people that had COVID. Mm-hmm. They had natural immunity, and they took the vaccine anyway. It's called antibody. What is it? Something antibody enhancement. Can't remember the exact first word now, but there's but it's basically it's making those people sicker because it's exposing them. Yeah. The vast majority, you alluded to it earlier about what was going on up in Maryland. I read a thing the other day is, the vast majority of folks that are getting COVID are the fully vaccinated now. And my thing is, it's like here, we went all summer with no mask mandate. Everything was lifted. And then, bam, fall gets here, late summer gets here, and we're back under this mask mandate. Nobody has provided us any actual metric as to why. All they're saying, is COVID cases are going through the roof. Well, COVID cases were going through the roof because of some of this other stuff we just spoke about.
Yes.
But we are on a 7-straight-week decline of COVID since I started tracking it. And I have somebody that is sending information to me. I feel that the information is very, very accurate.
Okay, that's important.
If it wasn't, I wouldn't be putting it out.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
When I was younger, I tended to go off some wild chases. But now, especially with what I'm trying to do for the community, because my sole basis for running for office is because I care about this community. This is my home. These people that live in this community are people I've grown up with. There's people I've known here literally since I was 6 years old. I work with folks from every community. Like I said, I'm in every community. And my sole basis for doing this is because I care about our county and our community. This was a great place to grow up. My son has grown up here. It's looking probably like I'll probably end up one day having grandchildren that are going to go up here. And I want my grandchildren to have the community that I grew up in. But the stuff that's going on now, I mean, there's 13 cases of COVID at the hospital as what was reported to me at the beginning of the week.
And what was it at its peak? Do you know?
73 when I started tracking it personally 7 weeks ago.
Okay.
We are down from 73 in the hospital to 13.
Well, that's good news.
That's great news. But it's also, why are we under a mask mandate for that? There's 13 cases. We have roughly 230,000 people in New Hanover County.
That's just New Hanover County.
Just New Hanover
and like
County.
You said, this is a
five-county regional hospital. I know everybody from Pender's going there. So let's just assume that all 13 cases that are in the hospital are from New Hanover County. That is a 0.0056% of our population.
Wow.
And everybody's running around wearing a mask because we have less than 0.25% of people in the population in the hospital. There's more people that got hurt in car accidents in this town last week.
Oh, I'm sure.
Yeah,
way more.
So why are we doing this? And the other disconcerting thing about this is, we're still under an emergency authorization, the state of emergency that was 580 days ago, I think, somewhere in there, 500 plus days ago.
That's when it started.
Was enacted in New Hanover County, and we're still under this. It's never been lifted. It's never been removed, and we're still under this. Now, the reason that we have this health mandate is because it's been kicked over to the Health and Human Services Board, which is a non-elected board. This is a board of people that is appointed by the county commission. And this week, the chairperson of the New Hanover County Commissioners, who just at this point happens to be Julia Olson Bozeman, she is the chairperson. The chairperson under the county ordinance can end this emergency order 10 minutes from now, and we could be done with this. And people could go about their lives. Small business owners can get back to filling their restaurants and their stores.
Right.
We can be done with this. But for some reason, we're still under that order. Well, that question was posed to Ms. Bozeman yesterday. The response was, well, the commissioners did not impose the mask mandate. The Health and Human Services Board did.
Right.
Okay.
Isn't she on that
She's on
board?
that board. She is a member of the Health and Human Services Board. So my first question is, well, why are we abdicating responsibility to a non-elected board to make policy for citizens? Second, as citizens, what obligation are we under to follow these unelected people? Because they're not represented. We did not elect these people to make decisions for us.
Right.
And on that Health and Human Services Board, by the way, there's only one physician, and that particular physician practices in Brunswick County. He's not even practicing in New Hanover County. So why do I have somebody from Brunswick County making decisions that affect me here in New Hanover?
How many people are on the board, do you know?
I think there is 7, maybe 9. I don't remember exactly. There's 15 positions on that board. And I did a video that's out on Rumble right now several months ago about, the folks that are on this board, who they are and what they're representing. And there, I think, are currently 12 of the 15 positions were filled, at least at that point. But these are the people that enacted the mask mandate. A non-elected board.
These are unelected, right?
These unelected people, are the ones making this. Ms. Bozeman tried to kick the responsibility over to there, but, I'm sorry, you're on this board too. She's one of the people that's on this board. So, to try and sit here and go, oh, well, wait a minute, the county commission doesn't have responsibility for that. That's the HHS board.
Wow.
Well, wait a minute, you're on that board too. So
yeah, but most people don't know that.
Most people don't know that.
A lot of people know it now.
Yeah, they know it now. And
good.
It's one of the things that, when they came out with the mandate, they had a bunch of exceptions, and then they went back on the exceptions, came out with their addendum to where you can't even address any county board. And, there's a lawsuit right now that's been filed against the county for this because they are violating
David Perry.
David Perry has filed his lawsuit. It's a First Amendment right violation. And I teach the Constitution for the Patriot Academy. So when I talk about the Constitution, I'm fairly well versed in what I'm talking about.
That's good to know. So
they are putting a condition. You cannot regulate, tax, or put a condition upon a right. They are unalienable rights given to us by our Creator. Nothing supersedes the Constitution. So the county manager's addendum is what is violating people's First Amendment rights. And that is what everybody is so mad about.
Wow. So that's what this lawsuit is about?
Yeah, that's what the lawsuit is. And this is why the fight with the school board. I contacted many members of the school board when they were going back and forth about the choice or mandate. And I tried to tell them, listen, you need to give people choice. They went with the mandate. They provided absolutely no metric. They kept telling, we're going by the North Carolina toolbox or we're going by the CDC. Well, that's not telling us, stop putting your responsibility out there. A friend of mine told me today she's tired of seeing these boards put the responsibility on someone else. Stand up and represent the people that you were elected by and start making the decisions. Stop putting it on someone else. And that's what's been going on. And now we look at this, absolute dumpster fire of a school board that we have, and I mean it's an absolute just wreck.
Wow.
And that's a whole other fight.
Yeah. This is nuts, and I know I have it in my notes somewhere, but this is one of the most controversial, I think, is an understatement, thing that I've ever experienced in my lifetime in this country. But at the same time, I think it's also the greatest smokescreen. What else is going on? What's the real agenda? You hear about these bills that are voted on in the middle of the night, like these refugees that are being flown all over the country, in the middle of the night, and then they're put on buses and going to undisclosed locations. There's a lot more going on here, and I surely don't know what it is. I'm not even hypothesizing what it could be, but this is a smokescreen.
I think so. I think honestly, what I think this is it is a push to try and topple the United States of America and knock us off of capitalism and into a socialist country. Yeah. And they're trying to do it at the lowest level. And a lot of people don't know this. When you look at the political landscape now, as New Hanover County goes, the state goes. As the state of North Carolina goes, the country goes.
Wow.
New Hanover County, this little thing, I think we are the second smallest county in the state of North Carolina. Either us or Dare.
Really?
Yeah, us and Dare County go back and forth between who's the smallest.
I thought it was a fairly large county.
No, I mean geographically we're I think
geographically
the second,
but population you're talking about.
I think we're the second smallest county geographically. We have a huge impact on the national scene politically. I had no idea about that until I got into it. So, when you ask me, I think, honestly, what we're trying to do is knock off capitalism, knock down America, and they're starting, and right here with what's going on, they're trying to push the socialism locally. You're asking my opinion. That's my opinion. As I read, and like Jonathan, I talked about, people used to call us crazy, but everything they called us crazy about is happening today.
Yeah. We only got a minute or two left. Real quick, how do people follow you or get more information on your campaign and what you're doing?
You can follow me on Facebook at Tom Toby for NHC, or go to my website, www.tomtobyfornhc.com.
Okay.
I'm also I'm going to be out at several of the big car shows coming up. I'm going to be this Saturday. I'm going to be at the AACA show that is in Mayfair.
Oh yeah.
And next weekend I'll be downtown at Rims on the River. And
nice.
I'll be really easy to find. I've got a dark blue '66 Galaxy 500 that has my name all over the side of it.
Nice.
So, if you're out at one of these shows, come see me, come talk to me, and tell me about your concerns for New Hanover County and how I can maybe help represent you.
Yeah, well, good. Tom, thank you for what you're doing.
Hey, I appreciate the opportunity to be on the show.
Yeah, good luck on your campaign, and keep those facts coming, man. And we will continue to vaccinate the public. Thank you. And Jonathan, if you're listening, thank you, sir. Good luck in your endeavors. And God bless. Stay safe. Remember, there is hope in recovery.
There are many sounds in your day-to-day life. There are sounds that wake you up. Sounds that make you smile. Sounds that energize you. And sounds that help you relax. But there are some sounds that can alert you to danger and can help save lives. Wireless emergency alerts, now on many mobile devices, use a unique sound and vibration to bring you information about severe weather events, Amber Alerts, or other emergencies in your area. With critical information from local sources you know and trust, you can be in the know, wherever you are. For more information, visit ready.gov/alerts. Brought to you by FEMA and the Ad Council.
Bringing you the best local talk radio shows, Wilmington's Big Talker 106.7 FM, WFBT, Carolina Beach.